Hello everyone, welcome into the form for the second day of the Spring Carnival out of Hastings, the Arrowfield Stud Plate. The feature on the program this afternoon, a change in presentation with Pip away on leave. So it's the Three Musketeers this afternoon, myself, Aidan Rodley and Leith Innes. Plenty on the show. Here is the agenda for this edition. The feature preview, of course, the Arrowfield Stud Plate. We've got the Racetrackers weekend preview, harness preview with the Whale, and then we'll bring you our best bets for the weekend. Let's focus in on Hastings and the all-important weather and track conditions for Saturday's meeting. Clearly, after a dry period, there has been a lot of rain through the early part of the weekend. There is a stitch across Friday and Saturday, especially through the morning. At this present moment, it is a heavy 10. The rail will be out 3 metres on the day. The actual afternoon of race day, I think, is scheduled to be pretty fine, but they do have some rain in the forecast. Here is the market, headed up by Legato at 2.4. Mustang Valley at $2.80. Of course, she will love the wetter track conditions. Sharp and Smart, Just Ask Me. Well, he's come into the race and probably gets track conditions to suit. La Creek, maybe not. And then we've got some other nice horses. Polly Gray, an interesting runner here. Malt Time, $41 is outstanding on day number 1. Let's get to you, Leith, and the speed map. Where do you see the speed coming from?
Yeah, obviously Polly Gray looks the natural leader in the race. Chase will go forward. I wouldn't be surprised from the tricky gate, La Creek, they might want to ride her a little bit handier than last time. She jumped out and she didn't show much speed. Pierre will take a sit just behind the pace, and I think Sharp and Smart, they'll just try to probably ride him a little bit midfield, a little bit neutral. They may have ridden him a little bit too handy last start.
Okay, the major form line going into Saturday is leg number 1, of course, the first leg of the Spring Carnival, and it's an interesting race because Skewiff comes out and she heads to Australia. Best runs in the race, Legato was very good, Leith Malt Time, eye-catching. La Creek, she just got out of position to really be a winning chance.
Yeah, she did. Look, obviously Legato had the big flashing red light on her head. You know, past the post, she was in front, and full credit to, you know, Ryan rode her well, and she's got a little bit of a tricky draw to overcome on Saturday, but you know, just up to a mile, you think it's going to be a peak distance.
Interesting race, isn't it? Because the whole dynamics changed this time round. You get to that 1,600 metres, a tricky start point. We've got a more rain-affected track, and it's just a different dynamic. And this, you know, I see the bookmakers have it as basically a 2-horse race, but I thought this was one of the most even Group 1s we've seen in a long time.
Big improvers out of that race. I thought Coolside may have actually put up a really good performance on day number 1, Aidan, and maybe improves into Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely, and there was talk about Sharp and Smart not really appreciating being on the fence, so barrier 3's a little bit niggly. You'd have preferred him to be a little bit wider, but I'm sure they'll be looking to get him into clear air this time around, just to maybe look for the better run. We know the ability of him, and of course he's been named Horse of the Year since then as well. So I think he's one of the big improvers, but boy, there's a lot of quality here as well. I didn't think it was just as smaller, you know, a group of winners as Legato and Mustang Valley.
Okay, let's talk about a couple of the new horses to the race. First and foremost, Mustang Valley, and we pick up Just Ask Me. She was brilliant in this one, Leith, and you go back to her performance over a mile in Australia, probably her best racetrack performance, and look, she looks as though she's coming up as well this season.
She does, and if that rain hands around, you know that she's going to cope very well in it. Look, he rode her really well this day. He was positive out of the gates. You know, you got Just Ask Me. He was really good last week at Palmerston North as well.
A really good second in this race last year, in behind La Creek, so we've got that about her. We went and watched her work on Wednesday morning. She looks really happy, so she's gets track conditions to suit, and obviously she's well proven. You know, she's run 4th in a major Australian Group 1 1,600 metre, albeit at handicap level, but she's quality. She won the last leg last year. Perhaps she can go one better than her middle leg second last year.
We saw Just Ask Me there, running home nicely under a big weight, and then he went on Saturday, beaten by Bellardo Boy on this occasion, and Ladies Man. Two quality horses. Look, if this was a human being, Leith, he's certainly a horse you'd want to sit down and have a beer with.
Yeah, well, the weight for age scale is going to, really help him, and obviously the owners they're very good at drinking beer, so look, they will be on course on Saturday, and look, his distance stats over a mile is quite good. You know, like you said, eight starts for 3 wins and 3 placings.
Enough in this position, isn't he? Just the really, really wet track was against him. You know, he's better than that. He did run second in the last leg last year. So whether he's looking for 2,000 metres now, that's a query. But he's got quality, and weight for age suits him down to the ground.
Well, he's not going to know himself on Saturday because he'll get into a similar weight to the remainder of the field, and he's just been carrying the car park. Can he win? Possibly not, but I think he's certainly a first 3 player on Saturday if there is further rain. We've got a few connections to catch up with as we lead into the feature.
Originally I was a bit disappointed, but when you go through things and you look at the sectionals, he was left in front, never been in front before, and what we've got to remember too is, which I sometimes forget, is he's actually a late November foal, so he's still technically only 3. So you're up against the big boys now, weight for age, it's not easy. He only finished 3 lengths from them and 0.30 of a second from the winner, but still running 8 doesn't cut it. He needs to improve 3 lengths. I'm hoping with getting the toe in the ground on Saturday might help him and maybe hinder a few of the better performed ones.
Just a good steady 2 rounds cantering. She had a good hit out yesterday morning on the grass, so she's pretty fit, and one more short gallop tomorrow should have her right.
How did she go on the grass yesterday?
Yeah, she worked over 1,200 metres. It was pretty wet. Obviously, we've had a fair bit of rain, so it was a testing hit out, but she needs it going to a mile Group 1.
Yeah, I was really pleased with the work. She did it under her own steam and seemed to enjoy the track conditions.
Yeah, she seems pretty comfortable in her action and everything too, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's a really sound horse, and we're just lucky to still be going at 9 years old.
Yeah, both really happy with them. I think they'll definitely improve from their first up efforts at Hastings, obviously in different races. I think the step up to the mile for Aromatic really suits her, and there's plenty of rain around, which sort of brings her into contention. I think it probably hinders a few of the main chances and brings her into contention. And Campionessa's really progressed well. I think she'll strip a lot fitter for her second up run. She worked yesterday with Legato. Legato probably worked a touch better, but we're probably not too worried about that. She's probably not the flashiest track worker, and yeah, I think she'll definitely improve it, and expecting a bold run second up.
Yeah, done really well, Aiden. Yeah, very happy with the way she's progressed since the Tarzino. Fitness level come up, work's been good, come a bit better in the coach, so no, very happy.
Legato obviously reeling off all those quicker sectionals in the Tarzino. It's got to be hard to beat. Mustang Valley, we know the quality's there on wet tracks as well, but I'm going outside of those. I'm going for my favourite, and Sharp and Smart. He's got the ability. 1,600 metres suits him a whole lot better than the 1,400 metres, which was, I think, just a little bit too sharp for him. I'm expecting a much improved run. Leith, who'd you go for?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Legato. Look, she's got a gate where Barrier 10's probably going to be okay if it's sort of a heavy track. She has had one start on a heavy track for a win before. But if it buckets down, I'd want to change and be on Mustang Valley.
Well, I'm going to say it buckets down. Well, not buckets down. I hope it doesn't bucket down, but there is some rain in the forecast. And I just map her to get a perfect run, Mustang Valley. And behind Polly Gray and Coolside Mab, she gets that sort of run, and she puts a couple of links on them at the top of the straight. She'll be very, very tough to beat on heavy 10-track conditions. And she was very good last time, and what a quality preparation last time in. The second of the features is the Guineas for this year. Option 405, Tokyo Tycoon, the little fella. 155, Chantilly Lace, or Chantilly Lace. Well, if there's any rain around, she really does come into this. Solidify just a little bit green on day number 1. Lantern Way was fantastic behind Chantilly Lace. Fresh up this season, you've got Codigo in the $18, and I'm very interested in what No Rain Ever can do this weekend as well. Leith, the speed?
Yeah, Riziki from the inside gate looks a natural leader. Codigo was really good last start. He was caught 3 wide, so they'll go forward again with him. And look, Rain No Ever, she was handy last start at the Waverley where she sat outside the leaders, and it looks like Opie's going to get the perfect run just off the pace.
Let's go back to day number 1, Leith, because I hadn't seen him before, and I was blown away at his size, but he covers the ground. That is the most important thing, and there was no real excuses in behind him this day.
No, there wasn't, was there? And, like he looks like a little kid's pony walking around the birdcage, but jumps out and he's a different horse. Look, I know they've been happy how he's come through the race, and he's going to be very hard to beat, obviously, on Saturday.
Just a super performance from this horse. He was clinical, he returned in great order, and he's done it against horses who had far easier runs. The difference this time round is, again, just how does track conditions play with him. He's got a lovely action. He looks like a really good track horse. So does that sort of dull his potency, that wet track this weekend?
Shanti Lace, when you go back and review her performance day number 1 in very good company, beaten by Quintessa, she was off the track. This is some performance from the little girl.
She was massive, wasn't she? Like, she was 3 wide, punching the breeze the whole way. And she was good to the line too. And like you said, like the 1400 metres is going to suit her, and the easing in the track, it's not a problem for her either. She's 3 starts on a heavy track for a win and a couple of placings.
Yeah, exactly, and that's probably her biggest asset. And on that, she's a 10-length winner of a was it a Castletown a couple of starts back as well. So yeah, she's got to be right in contention with the right track conditions.
Okay, let's get to Sam Burgesson's thoughts on the favourite.
He just does what he has to. He had a really quiet week after it. It was an impressive first up victory. He had a nice piece of work last week and just won this week. He doesn't take a lot. There's obviously not a lot to come and go on. But yeah, really happy with how he worked. Joe rode him this morning. He knows him well, and he was really pleased with his work. I think the track, if it was to be wet, probably wouldn't worry him. He obviously was very impressive here in the slipper on wet ground. And yeah, nothing much faces him. So look, really happy going into Saturday.
I thought Berndersheim was great. He sort of just got a nice run in transit. Just couldn't get out till late. He's a really big horse that needs plenty of room. But I thought he was really good to the line. I loved his run on the 1400 suits. Cadigo didn't get much luck. He was 3 wide, no cover the whole way. But I thought he fought on very good. He's come on well since, and hopefully a good draw in the 1400 is ideal for him too.
Happy with him since his last run. Obviously there's a bit of trip down there, and you never quite know how your young ones are going to handle it. But he's come back, he's bouncing, he's happy, eating up good, so happy.
Thoughts of the Waikato trainers with runners in the Hawke's Bay Guineas. It's going back through Tokyo Tycoon, who's obviously very good, winning a Matamata slipper on a heavy track. But that's the one query, but still he's clearly on top for me, and Leith, you're thinking the same.
Look, he's a very, he's not very big, and he's just one of those horses that he'd never let you down. He's a super racehorse, and it'll be great on course to watch him on Saturday.
He's going to have a fair decent weight on his back when he goes to the races on Saturday, because I am also with Tokyo Tycoon. I was blown away with him on day number 1. It just shows you they come in all shapes and sizes, the good ones, and he was dominant on Saturday. I saw him actually win on a heavy track and thought he was very good that day, so I'm with him as well. You can catch the Hawke's Bay Guineas 2:48 on Saturday, and you can catch the TPL with Aidan Rodley from 11 p.m. Okay, get your pens at the ready, because this can really throw you some winners. It is the race trackers section for this week, and let's get to you, Leith. You've got a serious sort of horse as your race tracker.
Yeah, look, Lupo Solitario, he's put his hand up twice now, and look, they've turned down some massive money for him, and it's just great for the owners and the connections. They're going to set him for the Cracker Millions and then the New Zealand Derby. So if there's a long market from the Derby, I'll be backing him. Look, nothing really went right in this race either. Like he got knocked around the whole race, and look, Opie's horse had the drop on him and couldn't beat him.
Yeah, pretty impressive performance, that's for sure. I'm going to take you to this week's trials out of Waverley, and one who is really impressive off the top. This is I'm Bartholomew, who led throughout under Seal Butler, prepared by Tony Dravitsky at Stratford, and just kicks on clear. Scores by 4. The time was very good. The time something like 15 lengths faster than the next heat. So there's just a lot to like, especially the way how comfortably this horse was doing it late. One to like in your area, Swings?
Absolutely. I'm going to go back to last Saturday and a horse called Iparima for a guy Larry. Now, it was only fair at the trials and it blew out this day, but it came from a long way off them, and I thought it was a really good effort. It will head to the last day at Hastings in a 65-14. And I think it'll be rock hard ready for that particular performance. The leader just is very, very quick-eyed, Delic, but I think that's a really nice run to go to Hastings with a little bit of confidence. Here is a summary of the racetrackers. Lupo Solitario for Leith, Iparima for myself, and Aiden's got you one out of the trials. For Tony Dravitsky, I'm Bartholomew. A really good meeting the day before the bay comes out of Te Rapa. It's also been a little bit weather worsened there as well. Aidan Rodley, you've been out and about, especially track work around the region a couple of days ago. What's the weather and track likely for Friday?
Well, it's been wet. There's just no two ways about that. So a lot of rain has fallen in the region, certainly in Hamilton as well. Track conditions currently are heavy 8 and just not really drying type conditions. So I can't see it getting back much better than that. But really good fields, top to toe, with good betting fields right throughout the day. That's the order.
Well, let's talk about race number 1. Bring you in, Leith. Crescetti unbeaten and Pendabell unlucky at the Bay. Geldof 1 start, 1 win. But Crescetti first and foremost.
Yeah, he's been huge. Whole 3 of his wins here at Ruakaka. He ran pretty much the same sectionals as Dragon Leap. And look, he's one of those big free running horses. Te Rapa's going to suit him. Barrier 4, you'd think he'd be leading or sitting outside the leader. And set weights and penalties, he gets only in with 58.5, a kilo and a half more than the other winners in the race.
He's just been so impressive in those last couple. Speaking to Danny Walker last night, he just said he's a little bit nervous about wet track conditions, but boy, he's 3 from 3. Danny's suggesting he might have found the horse of a lifetime here, and boy, he's getting better and better. He takes this race, goes to the Sarton Memorial, and then on to the New Zealand 2000 Guineas. He could be unbeaten in 5 starts at the end of November.
Look, and Pendabell's in the race, Leith as well, and I know that particular horse caught your eye out of Hastings as well.
Yeah, she ran as fast as 400 metres and 200 metre sectionals at Hawke's Bay, and she got poleaxe at the start. Probably the wet track's not really going to suit her. I know they've got a couple other, the 1000 Guineas is their main aim, so I think it's a bit more of a fitness run, to be fair.
Okay, Aidan, who are you going with in the first on the program there at Te Rapa?
I think this race picks itself. Crescetti just looks like a horse of rare quality, and I'd be expecting him to extend his record. And of course, adding not quite so good, it'll be 6 by the time he wins the New Zealand 2000 Guineas.
Very good, very, very good. Very impressive young horse. Let's move you on to race number 3 out of Te Rapa, and here Sacred Satono is the headline act, and as we go back and watch the fresh up performance at Te Rapa, I mean, sectionally very good, and to the eye, very good.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? Look, Johnny was well trained, hadn't raced for 3 months, and look, Michael rode Sacred Satono well, and he looked like he was going to pounce late, but all credit to Johnny. Well rated in front, and he's one of those horses that he's pretty hard to pick up.
Yeah, my eyes just keep going to that horse in the yellow. Boy, she looks good. Anyhow, let's talk Sacred Satono, because this is some sort of run. He trialled up very well prior to this, and he'll only improve from this. He gets quite close to Johnny, who really had dominated a race from the front. But Sacred Satono on trial for a trip to Sydney, and I'd expect him to be winning this one.
Ultimate Pride, Leith, you're close to Lance Noble. Claire now went back-to-back at the end of last preparation.
Yeah, look, she's been trialling up well. She's an ex-Eagle Farm horse, Tony Gollins. Look, she's probably 1200 metres going to be a little bit short for her, but she's one to watch later on, sort of those sort of mile 2000 metre races, I think.
Interesting runner. Leith, do you have an idea of what they may be aiming at her at?
She has qualified as a Cracker Millions horse, so yeah, maybe a 2000 metre stayers race later in the season, maybe.
Yeah, boys, we need to get a couple of selections on that particular race. Which way are you heading, Leith?
Yeah, I can't go past Sacred Satono. Look, that last race would have tightened them up a little bit. They look like they're going to send him to Aussie soon, so he should be winning this race.
Looks like there's a pretty major sort of multi rolling in for you here on the form today. Race number 7 on the program is the Open over the 1600 metres. Prix de Feu, Brando, both coming back in grade today. Crystallise and, of course, Pearl of Alsace. What did you make of this, Leith?
Yeah, Pearl of Alsace. She was in a pretty much of an impossible situation. Ashwin got caught behind a couple of slow ones. Look, she's run the fastest 400 metres. She's come home in 34.77 for 600, and she only just went down. She nearly got there. Feel a little bit sorry for Ashwin. If she'd won, she only got beaten a long neck. If she'd won, he may have kept the ride. I see Michael McNabb's on her this week.
I actually think that Michael was booked prior to that race anyhow. So it was a very good run from Pearl of Alsace. So terrific performance from a quality. We saw her in training on Wednesday morning. Boy, she's strong. She's a good, imposing type of animal, and you'd expect improvement from that first up run. Very hard to beat. The other one there was just crystallised, wasn't it? Just with the lightweight.
I don't think that's a think, Aidan. I think that's, I know that Michael McHarewood's booked for the next start. What are you going with?
Pearl of Alsace on top of me.
What about you, Leith? You think it's the bet of the weekend, I believe?
Yeah, she is my bet of the weekend. Look, the lights were flashing last week, and that run under her belt, she'll be pretty fit on Friday at Te Rapa. Okay, we've got also some pretty exciting sort of action coming in Friday night as Imperatrice steps out in the mire. She is $1.80. 1,000 metres, again, let's go back and see what she did at her most recent start, and this was just simple jet material, Leith. Yeah, she was massive, wasn't she? Like, obviously, Giga Kicks come out of the race with a few little niggly issues, and Craig Williams, he'd be interesting if he gets on it again next season. But look, Opie back over there this week. He's got a late flight out of there to get back to Hawke's Bay. He's flying out at 11:25 Australian time, so it's going to be touch and go if he gets to Hawke's Bay. But look, Opie knows it super well, and he loves the valley as well.
And that's the real key to this, isn't it? I know Mick did a super job last time out, but Opie has so much confidence in her, and obviously he did win the Group 1 at the track, the William Reid as well. The query is who going 1,000 metres twice. She's a Group 1 winner twice at 1,600 metres, although maybe that's beyond her as an older horse. But 1,000 metres, it's going to be some sort of training feat from Mark Walker and his team there at Cranbourne to have her sharp enough for this 1,000 twice in a row. And it will be interesting. I don't think we've seen it too often in New Zealand, but a rider riding at at two different meetings on the same day, because this race is after midnight New Zealand time, and then Opie gets down to Hastings to ride later on that afternoon. So he rides in the morning at Moonee Valley and the afternoon at Hastings.
I wonder if you think that booking was done before the big race at Moonee Valley with Mickey D. But best of luck to Opie and the Te Akau team. And talking of the Te Akau team, let's get Mark Walker's thought on the track gallop earlier this week.
Yeah, she worked nice, and it's just been a balancing act, sort of trying to keep it fresh enough to go another 1,000. But Ben's been happy with her the whole way through, and I thought her work was good this morning.
What was she asked to do out there this morning?
Oh, they just went an easy half mile, just quicken up the last little bit, but yeah, no record broken, but just maintenance work really.
What have you done with her between runs? As you say, that was her first run at 1,000 in the McEwen the other day. Has it just been trying to keep that explosiveness there that we saw first up?
Yeah, that was probably the juggling act, because in the perfect world you'd be going 11 if not 1,200, but yeah, so we'll just have to see Friday night if she is fresh enough.
She's good enough though, isn't she? Just has put together a great Group 1 record, and I think she'll extend that on Friday. Leith, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with you, Aidan. I think when they wake up on Saturday morning, there's going to be a lot of Everest slot holders on the phone to David Ellis.
And I think there'll be a few blurry eyes from Trackside presenters going to Saturday and the Bay, because that race will go at 12:15 Saturday morning.
Yeah, massive night. Friday night is Group 2 Lamont Hayward Canterbury Classic night. Of course, it is another guide towards the IRT New Zealand Trotting Cup. And of course, we're on the way to the Dominion Handicap as well, with the Paul Renwick Farms handicap trot with the likes of Muscle Mountain going around. But our feature, it is race number 8. And here's the market here. BD Joe, fresh off its win in the New Brighton Cup. You open at 480s into 360 at the moment on a dominant performance last start. He draws the inside draw here. Kudu, who's back from the trials the other day, a successful trial it was, 420. Artie's Express 450 off for a Hannon win. And Self-Assured, of course, the outstanding pacer who's got a wonderful record at 550. And an interesting driving change. Zach Butcher picks up the drive, will start from the outside of the front. Key video to show is the New Brighton Cup, and of course in front BD Joe. He stepped nicely, not quickly, but he worked forward, and once his stablemate let him roll to the front, he was in a good rhythm. We know that he's hard to catch. Terry Schmidt picks up the drive. Of course, Tim Williams will drive stablemate Artie's Express. Terry's working for Stonewall Stud. I talked to Steve Telfer during the week, and he said, yeah, he's doing a fair bit of driving at the moment, the team at the moment. He's had a couple of guides round on BD Joe. Barrier 1 was my concern with him, but going back looking at his career, he actually won the Ashburton Flying Stakes from an inside draw, Barrier 1, and defeating a great field. So it's all about a clean beginning with him, and if he gets away safely, I can understand the support from him from $4.80 into $3.60. His main dangers will come from the all-star pair, Self Assured and Akuta. Outstanding horses in their own rights, multiple Group 1 winners. You've got Akuta, the Derby winner, of course, the winner of the Auckland Cup at his last start. He's in front in the blue cap. Coming to the outside, Blair Orange taking the drive on Self Assured at the trials this day. He was running number 5. He started to smoke down the outside. And I got his last half in 55.9. Of course, he ran third in this race last year, and he won the race in 2020. In the media during the week, Mark said, listen, they're both on the improve. They'll both improve with the run, but class will take them a long way. I settled on BD Joe on top. I thought he's the horse to beat. He needs a clean beginning. He'll be one at the start this race. He can't afford to get back in the field, but he's such a good front runner. And if he can walk to the front like he did last time, I think he's the horse to beat. Main danger, Self Assured, Zach Butcher, and Akuta, the Auckland Cup winner. Feature trot on the night is the Paul Renwick Farms trot. Muscle Mountain, $1.50. Well, he got surprisingly beaten first up, but he had an excuse. He stepped away from the standing start off the back mark, and his stablemate did us no favours. Midnight Dash swung sideways. Ben Hope had to try and navigate a little bit of traffic, get round him, and then spend a fair bit of petrol to get outside Artie by the Hill. He's your second favourite at $5.50. Lovin' the Port was the most encouraging run. Of course, he was your Rowe Cup winner at big odds at Auckland, and I think he's just kept improving as time goes on. You got Midnight Dash and stablemate Eurocash at $16. This is them last time. Muscle Mountain running second behind Artie by the Hill. He hadn't had a run for 105 days, Muscle Mountain. He looked to have the better of Artie by the Hill, but his condition probably gave out inside the last 50 metres. He'll be much better for the run. He's off the 20-metre handicap. It's a smallish, very similar field to what he meets in this race here. You've got the likes of Lovin' the Port, Time on my side, running on, Time up the hill. I think he'll win, Muscle Mountain. I think a better beginning and staying a lot handier. He's the one to beat. Yeah, my selections in the handicap trot are definitely with Muscle Mountain. I know he's $1.50, but he is the class horse of the field, and he's probably our number 1 trotter in the country at the moment. I think Artie by the Hill, the obvious danger, because he's got a 20-metre head start, and Love on the Port, he's the big improver. I think his trip to Auckland has made him, and I think his win in the Rowe Cup suggests that he's right up to Group 1 action. So for me, Muscle Mountain, Greg and Nina Hope to continue on their winning run. The Lazarus Stakes, a time-honoured event, and we've got a really short price favourite, race number 7. And Don't Stop Dreaming, he's only ever beaten once in his career in 10 starts. And of course, that was in the Harness Millions. He's $1.50. He starts from the outside of the front. That's because it's preferential draw. Who's Delight? $8. Stablemate Triple G, $8. Boris O'Kane, $8.50. And Coney Island Lou, who's excellent, winning first up at $8.50 as well. This is Don't Stop Dreaming at the trials the other day. Now, he got beat. He's in the blue cap, highlighted there in the big square. Olivia Thornley drives. The two that beat him home, Love Struck Out Wide, goes on to win next start. Oscar Bonavina, the trotter, goes on to win the DG Jones on Sunday at Moch Carrara. I thought he was quite good. That was the second of his 2 trials. He's not going to be screwed down for a race like this on Friday night because he's got huge targets right through till Christmas time. But he's a class horse, and even at 90%, he's the horse to beat. He'll roll back off the gate. I don't think they'll go forward with him, and he's just got to work himself into the event. But clear top pick for me is Don't Stop Dreaming. As I said, only beaten once by Merlin in the Harness Millions. Main danger, I think, Triple G, very good out of the Harness 7000. He's a big improver along with Coney Island Lou. My best of the night goes round in Anything Goes in the race number 5. Blair Orange picks up the drive. Of course, he was very good in the Hannon Memorial last start. He ended up running 30s, 240 on the fixed odds, and I think he's the best of the night. Looking forward to the action, catching you live from in studio on Friday night.
Thanks very much, Craig. We'll all be keeping a close eye on race number 5 and Anything Goes Friday night, and all the action on Addington will get underway at 4:46.
I'm hoping for a rally so I can see my baby tonight.
But Blazon Master travelling beautifully the corner, and he stretches away to score.
Sweet Treat running on the Jaffa Express quarter pod. He's a length on Northview Dance giving chase. Sweet Treat to third from Lamont, but he's going to be too big, too strong, and he'll go back to back the Jaffa Express, and he pulls away again.
We had to rely on Pip and Justin last week. There was a few seconds in the mix from the team. Let's get to you, Leith. What's your best this weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to go Friday to Rapa. Pearl of Alsace. Look, she wouldn't have looked out of place in the Arrowfield Stud Group 1 on Saturday at Hawke's Bay. And to Rapa, she gets in with 54 kilos. She'll be winning on Friday.
Going to be hard to beat that. So I'm going to take you to Sunday and to Woodville and go to the first lock winner. I think just absolutely knocking on the door. Goes around in pretty famous colours, the main brace colours these days with the Wallace boys, and prepared by Kevin Myers. I just thought it looked to be beautifully placed in race 1.
Yeah, I was with Pearl of Alsace, but we can't all go with that particular horse. So I'm going to pick one out at the Bay at some value. This is Dramatic. I think she gets the opportunity, first race on the program at the Bay, to get the best use of the track conditions, and she'll need it. She was scratched on Saturday when it poured with rain. I thought her fresh out run at Hastings was very, very good, so I'm expecting a run from a good mare. And a wrap of the best bets, Pip on holiday, but given her best big time raider, that's at Whanganui on Friday. Leith Pearl of Alsace Friday to Rapa. The Whale, anything goes Friday night, Addington. I'm with This is Dramatic, the first on the program out of the Bay. Justin, he'll head to Riccarton on Saturday with Mezabin and Aiden. He'll wrap that weekend with Woodville on Sunday with the Kevin Myers trained Lock Winnock. That is a wrap on the form for Arrowfield Stud Plate Day. Thanks to the boys, Leith and Aiden. And don't forget, Saturday morning from 11 a.m. you can catch Aiden on the TPL. Leith and I will be on course out of the Bay. Happy punting for a big weekend of racing.